Hello, I am Wallace, the Polish toy guy, and when I'm recording this, it's already past 10 PM, which means I'm done with all the tasks I had from my real life, and which is also not a very suitable time to start recording anything bigger. So, opting to still record something, I want to show you something small, but something that I really like. This is a Lego minifigure of X-Men Gambit. Well, not quite. And the not quite bit comes from the fact that this is an unofficial custom-made Gambit. You see, at many venues where you can buy pop culture items, for example, booths that are on various sci-fi conventions, you can find places that offer custom-made Lego minifigures, and that's where I got mine. They had a very large selection of figures from DC, Marvel, TV shows, but since I was not all that into that idea at the time, I just wanted to take it for a test spin and decided to get this Gambit for around $4, which, considering the prices of minifigures right now, I think is quite good, especially if you like the character like I do with this one. And as you can see, this is clearly the Gambit from the animated X-Men series that we all know from the 90s. And in my humble opinion, for a custom-made toy, this looks really nice. All of the printed details are sharp, stay in their place. For now, I'm being told that touching these printed details for too long may affect the quality, but since, as you can see, I'm taking precautions when dealing with this, I hope this Gambit will stay with me for many years to come in a rather intact shape. And that is a nice shape, of course. Yes, Lego minifigure, not too many places to vary the shape, but what we can see, oh, I really like the face. It has very characteristic headgear, red eyes, this perma stubble that Gambit somehow had. The costume is also quite characteristic, this, how do I call it, armor? And its violet pink shades with molded muscles all over the place, some nice details above and below. These pants, I think these pale blue elements are already his boots. And of course, the long coat. The long coat is made from the usual Lego material, as I call it. It's quite okay. Of course, it could use some extra details, like some coat elements, but again, Lego minifigures, what do I expect? And of course we have Gambit's usually used staff/attack stick, which we are going to remove for now. And this is probably the least working element of this, because it's just some random piece of Lego stick with this protruding bit on one end. It's nothing spectacular. I would prefer this to have just a single straight line without any variations. But well, this still is the main dish, and I like the main dish. Let's take out this Lego minifigure plate that is not part of the set, mind you. And I'll tell you already, there are no elements behind this, I checked. But we do have some nice molded hair pieces, and also no secondary face on the back, which I didn't really expect. I'm fine with this. And as you can see, we have the collar piece, which was originally lifted up to cover the ear areas, but I thought it looked better when it's pushed down, so I pushed it down, and I hope this will not affect its durability. And speaking of posability, you can move the head, of course, if you push your finger onto both the hair and face pieces simultaneously. You can move the arms a bit, but the coat does create extra layers of friction for that piece, wrists and legs which can kick forward. And kick back is very limited due to the presence of the coat. But overall, this is for me intended to just stand on the shelf and remind me of Gambit, and for that purpose I don't need the posability, and I like what I have. Wait, alright, I can see I partly unintentionally ignored the advice of the seller not to get too much personal contact with the figure. As you can see, the custom printout paint, whatever you want to call it, is already wearing out at a rather unfortunate place, considering I never really grabbed the figure through this element. I usually kept my fingers on it like that. I don't know, perhaps it was in a basket with other Lego things, I don't know, but yeah, you really have to pay attention to custom-made figures and the durability of their decorations. And now it's time for some toy comparisons. So for actual toys, let's start with a typical Lego minifigure, a typical Transformers Titan Master, as well as bigger Legends-sized toys of Rewind from Titan's Return, Bombshell from Combiner Wars, and previously reviewed Basic Class Beast Wars Snarl. And no, I do not own any other Lego Marvel figures to put in this picture. And for real-life objects, here we have the common cola can and the $1 bill. So yes, overall I am very happy with my first custom-made Lego minifigure. I like the character, I like how this figure represents that character, and I think the price of $4 is fully acceptable, especially that I would really like to avoid a scenario where I actually have to buy a big set to get a single minifigure and still face the chance of not getting that figure because it does not officially exist. So this option is really good for me, and chances are if I find such booths with custom mades again, I will buy some more figures to put on my shelf, because I just want to be reminded somehow of the characters I really like. And if you have some characters that you would like to see in Lego form, I think this kind of solution would work for you too, and I encourage you to look for such booths if you go to places where you could potentially find them. And that's all for this video review. I will be back with the next one soon, and until then, stay well. Polish Toy Guy, signing out.